There's Dave again.
Yeah, I was hoping I didn't kick you guys off.
No?
There is only one button that the cat can step on to cause a problem.
That was a cat problem.
That was funny.
A cat caused problem.
That was the cat caused problem right there. It was. I love having the cat around, but there.
Now, I was just going to put my iPad up in the cradle thing, which is, let's see, how can I show you? Wait, which is this thing. I didn't try to plug in my computer and iPad. Should I do both?
People do that because they can't dial in or something, or they can't get on one way or the other, so they do it. I don't see a need for it. It's, you know, you can try it just to make sure you can do it, but
I told Ingrid my next door neighbor is teaching 4th grade over Zoom for Norfolk, and what she's done, she has her computer facing her, you know, so they see her. Then she takes her iPhone or smartphone and props it on 2 Campbell soup cans so that she can write out a problem. She's teaching 4th grade math, so she needs, you know, like a chalkboard. Well, one of the moms sent that in to Campbell's. One of the moms emailed Campbell's, and they sent her 2 cases of chicken noodle soup as a thank you for using soup cans for.
Wasn't that nice? You think you could get the people that made that wastebasket to send you a couple of iPads?
Maybe.
Gee, I don't know if that's how it exactly works.
I got so tickled. She was so excited. She was giving out soup all over the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. There's only so much chicken noodle you can eat, too.
That's what she said.
Did she tell you what the advantage was of using the iPhone over just using the audio on her computer?
They're 4th graders, and they kind of really need to keep seeing her while she's writing things out. She said when she flipped back and forth, when they weren't seeing her, they quit paying attention.
They wandered off. Mm-hmm.
They wandered off. So that's why she needed a camera plus her computer camera. So she's using her phone
here. Maybe we can just skip the.
Oh, that's. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I use the white heddle with white threads, but I'm hoping with the black behind it, you can kind of see a little bit.
The black takes care of it.
It does. Okay. It really makes a difference, Ingrid. That's great.
You know what that is? It's my jacket.
Whatever it is, it works.
I can lower this a little bit.
Let's see.
Let me see if I can lower mine.
Let me show you what I've got set up.
Let's try that.
See if it's visible enough. Because I discovered, Dave, that I couldn't zoom in and out like I could on my camera.
Yes.
When I was practicing, it doesn't give me any way to move the camera on this.
Yeah.
So I sort of, is this going to be visible enough? Do I need to get it up closer?
Actually, both of those are quite visible.
Okay. All right.
Now I'm looking at this on my laptop.
Computer.
It's a fairly large laptop screen, but it's not a desktop screen, and I'm seeing it plenty well.
Okay, and Ingrid's too, right?
You can see when I change the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Now maybe if I were watching this on my iPhone, I might have problems, but.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, we can't worry about that, right?
Well, yeah.
It's amateur at its best, yeah.
Yeah. This is, yeah. Do we want to go ahead and start? Do we want to wait till Chris and maybe Linda join us, or?
It was funny.
1 o'clock.
one? Okay.
Yeah. It was funny because I went up to bring Linda her heddle. She wanted one of these heddles. So I drove up there, and she emails me right before we're supposed to meet, or when I was getting ready to leave, and she says, it's pouring rain up here. And I said, so what? By the time we got up there, it had stopped.
I was gonna say, it's been a totally beautiful, beautiful day here.
That was yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah, it was pouring rain.
Yeah, it was. And I know they say not to have the background cluttered, but that's all I've got.
Hey.
Well, this is covering the other loom with the 13 on it. So
yeah,
I figure we'll get to that one eventually.
I figured I could put up a sheet or something, and I didn't get it done.
Well, even what was it, Edie Ekman or whatever that was giving the workshop on teaching knitting and crocheting, the thing that Margaret had me sit in on.
Right.
She had at least this much stuff in her background. I mean, this isn't clutter, it's beauty.
It's just
now if it were shelves of thread or something, it might be more distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other fact is what you're going to be showing people
right.
It's not between you and the wall, it's down
on the cutting mat,
now,
which isn't all that great, but that's how it is up here. So
it is what it is.
It is. Yeah, kind of.
All right. So that shows up. Okay.
I really didn't mean to volunteer you, Ingrid, for this. I feel
right. I had a good laugh because you, especially at the end, and I didn't volunteer you for this.
No, I really didn't mean to. I just volunteered me to do this part.
That's okay.
Okay.
I can get evil. Oh, I mean, we'll do something else.
Okay. You can get evil. Okay.
Even. I was going to say we get even, but.
Hey, you're going to be media stars. You're on the YouTube channel.
Oh God.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I clicked the box to record automatically, so I didn't forget it. So I'm going to have some editing to do.
Yeah, good.
Oh, are we being recorded right now?
Yeah, it's recording.
Yes.
See up in the corner, it says recording.
It doesn't show that on my iPad. How funny. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I showed it on my laptop. So
let's see. It might show it on more. No.
Uh-uh.
Here, we'll go bigger. Okay, yeah, once I put that white piece of paper back there, that really kind of reflects, doesn't it? I'll leave that over there.
Yeah, the piece of paper started to get in the field of view. So yeah, the black is great though.
Yeah, that was a really good idea. I did put that one that I had on my ankle loom, Ingrid, on the rigid heddle, and it is easier to deal with.
Sure.
And I think it was my idea to put this on the rigid heddle. The ankle loom. I didn't realize it would be.
And see, I haven't had any trouble. I've got the 13 on the Inkle loom back here.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Okay. So it's just me.
Well, the up shed is fine. The down shed is kind of, oh no, it's all right. But you really have a very narrow way to work here. I mean, I have to keep advancing.
I think that's what I was having trouble with.
Yeah, you can't just tear into it. You have to, go do a few and then come back.
I think I was tearing into it.
Yeah. And see, I'm having trouble. I've got the this 5 heddle on the back strap, and I keep leaning in, and it's
and it changes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bugging me. So I guess I'll just have to do it this way and not.
Yeah.
Okay.
It works. Cindy, you're one of our overachievers, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of overachievers, where has Judy been? She hasn't been on into the last meeting.
No, and she wasn't. I went up to the farmers market day up in Heathsville, and she wasn't anywhere around that day either.
I know at our last meeting, she's taking an online class and it conflicted with her class. Our meeting did. So she had emailed and told me she couldn't be there.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you heard from her. I thought maybe they were out of town or something. I just hope they're okay.
Yeah, I think Sandy would have said something if there was a problem.
Yeah, she would have. She would have.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have a few of those.
What's that? Dings?
Uh-oh, no, uh-oh.
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah, I've got Gordon manning the phone. Hopefully nobody will call.
We just went through and silenced our phones.
I silenced the one that's in the room next to me, so
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself. So
there.
Oh, wait, Dave, you did mute yourself.
Yeah, I did. I was saying when the robocalls come, because it's Medicare open season.
Oh no!
Yes, it is.
Every what should I say?
Provider. Wannabe provider.
Wannabe provider is calling you.
Let me try this without this lamp in here. Is that still visible without that lamp in?
Yeah.
Okay, because maybe I don't want to.
It looks about the same. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's better actually without the lamp.
Yeah, because this is getting a lot of reflection off the table. Maybe I can turn it this way. And just turn it away from me. Well, I guess I don't really need extra light. I'll park it over here. Let's see. Let's try it over here. Now there seems to be a...
There we go.
I switched my light too because there's too much light in, not enough on my face and too much into the camera with it the other way. So
let's see. Yeah, I'm moving mine around too. I
really like these little cut up quadrilled cardstock.
Yeah, paper.
Yeah, that really helps. I need to tie that one on, don't I? I think that was a Susan Folks.
Yeah, I saw it. It was on, or yeah, the one online. I think the one we looked at online.
Yeah.
When you and I both had our ankle problems and we were trying to find something to do that didn't require feet.
Yep. That. Yep. There.
Yeah.
That very thing. Yeah. But then the other day I saw somebody had used an index card one, and I was like, an index card with a graph. I was like, I've got that from years ago.
I'm not sure I've ever seen index cards with graph ruling. Those are handy to have, but I just never seen them.
Most people probably wouldn't need them.
Graphs.
Yeah. I used them in trig.
Yeah.
When I taught trig, so most people probably wouldn't need them. Even pay attention to that, but there we go.
Well, if you had success in getting your students to understand trig, you were way ahead of most of the teachers.
Well, I don't know if they understood, but I tried. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So I'll try not to do too much switching back and forth. It's like Ingrid said, amateur hour.
Back in the early days of electronic calculators, they used to have trig functions on them. So one could amuse themselves doing the arc cotangent of your bar bill or something. But how often you actually used them for anything legitimate was another question.
Yeah, well, never. Yeah.
They kind of disappeared.
Yeah. The funny thing is, my go-to calculator is from the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, those are nice calculators.
Yeah.
I've got one in a briefcase someplace. It just stays there.
Yeah. I'm usually doing funky arithmetic now, so yeah, I don't need my fancy graphing calculator to do funky arithmetic.
Your phone has plenty of calculation set
Oh,
and
yes.
likely to be on your belt. That's probably why, other than when I'm using it on the computer, and then that's usually a spreadsheet. I just use my phone.
Yeah. Well, Ingrid, do you want to go first this time and do the easier heddle first? Or last?
Well, I figured I would go last because you're going to explain pickup, and then this is just like the super easy pickup.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then it'll be like this is the cheater method. So if I do the cheater method first, and everybody's going to be like, well, why would I do the other one? You know?
Well, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
Well, one reason might be because you don't have a husband with access to a 3D printer.
A 3D printer. Well, I did buy the other one. I bought that one from Store Stalker. So
Okay,
that's what
Chris
started
has
the whole thing.
arrived.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Hi,
I was
Chris.
trying to hit the admit button, so yeah.
There she is. Good. Well, I've got my one from Store Stalker, and it's great, Ingrid, but I don't know how many more I'm going to buy.
Well, it depends. I mean, I bought the 13 thinking that would be all I would need, but you know,
Right.
I mean.
Right. I've got the 7 and I'm having fun with that one. Hi, Chris.
Hi. Is this going to be a private lesson?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Until it goes on our YouTube channel and then it's viral.
Oh, gosh.
So I keep my face off of it. You can look at this over here. Yeah, just look at this.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and start?
Might as well.
Okay.
Okay, you might, just so I know where to do the editing, just do a formal announcement of what it is you're about to do, so I don't delete the wrong part.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Ingrid and I are going to do a little thing on learning to weave Baltic style or Norwegian band weaving style. This is called many different things, and it's done traditionally in regions of Scandinavian countries. It's sometimes called Sami bands, Norwegian bands, speckled bands. All of these indicate the same kind of weaving, and typically, at least the ones we're looking at, have an odd number of pattern threads on it. And I'm going to grab just to show you. So this is the one I'm working on today, just to be a fairly simple design. And if you count, we have an odd number of threads. And this particular style that we're doing often has an odd number of threads. And if I switch over, look at what we're working on. Let's see, there we go. We've got some dark pattern threads and some light background threads. And I tried to make it easy to see. We've threaded wider or thicker pattern threads that I have in purple here. And then the background threads that I have in white are the thinner background threads. And I've used size 10 crochet cotton for the background and size 3 crochet cotton for the pattern threads. And if I hold it up, let's see if I can show this with this camera. The red is pretty thick, and the off-white or the white natural, if you can see that, is pretty thin. So you want something, they say maybe twice as thick. I've got it a little thicker just so that we can see it. If you notice from the grid, there's one pattern thread, 2 background threads, 1 pattern thread, 2 background threads. And actually, I'm reading it. I pointed it out incorrectly. We're actually going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on, the way I have this written. This is our heddled threads, and this is our set of open threads. And what I mean by that, on my Inkle loom, it's just traditionally threaded with my string heddles, and I've got 2 sheds going on, so nothing too fancy. Let's see, the next part is our grid. If you notice, we have a square grid on our design, and what you may not notice is the background threads are not indicated there. The grid is just our pattern threads. So we're looking at that, we're looking at just the pattern threads. And if you notice in my picture, I have dots. And I also have indicated nothing and then heddled, and then nothing and then heddled. That's just to try to help people see what we're doing. If I switch to my loom and I pull up the open row, this is the open row, the non-heddled row up. I've got 1, 2, 3 of the brown coppery colored threads. I'm ignoring my little pattern threads off to the side here, and I'm just dealing with the pattern part. When I push down for us to see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern threads on the other shed. So it kind of makes a difference. Let's see where I am with my threads. Let me show you. My shuttle has on the background color just because as I work a pickup pattern, you get gaps where you push down a background thread, a pattern thread, and your weft thread will show through. So if you don't want it to show, let the background threads match the threads you put on your shuttle. So that's what I've done for this today. If you do want a little bit of extra pizzazz, you might put a different color on there. Let's see, so I've just done a couple of plain weave rows. And plain weave rows are lots of fun to do. Let's see. Okay, when I look at my graph, let me see if I can get the graph right beside what we're working on. All right, when I look at my graph, I put lead in here to make the pattern look pretty. Let's see, as we look at a couple bands, let me grab a couple bands. When I do the design, I kind of started off with a little something that mimics the shape. Here's another one. I tried this one and couldn't get it to work the way I wanted, so it was only 1 repeat. Here's another one. Baltic weaving is gorgeous. There are so many beautiful things you can do. So here I've got this flower shape here, and I kind of did an open area so that I could see the difference between my speckles and the pattern. I put that in green in my grid. So if I look at my grid, and one easy way to keep your place is to use one of the magnetic boards that they sell for cross stitch. That way you can move your magnet and you don't lose your place. So if we look at my magnet here, all right, I'm on the first row of my lead in, and that is a, let's see, which row is that? A heddled row. So that means, I'll push this down. When I push the open threads down, my heddle row is up. So that's the row I want. And that's not where I am. Hold up. Let me get to there. I tend to put my, let's see, okay, when my shuttle is on the left, when my shuttle thread is on the left, I try to be in the lower shed on my ankle loom. That helps me keep it straight. That way, when my shuttle is on the right, I raise I have raised the open threads, and that gives me that shed. So left, lower, raised, right helps me stay where I know where I am, kind of. Okay, so I've got and I talked my way through and did it wrong. Hold up. Okay, there we go. So I did here's my heddle row. I put my shuttle through the shed. My next one is the open one. And you see there are 3 shaded in dotted things. The dotted things mean that the pattern thread is up. All right. So I put right there, my next row. If you notice my next row, and let's talk about that. We've got 2 shaded in dots and 2 non-shaded dots. Okay, the dots mean that those are the pattern threads in that row. If they're shaded, you want to keep them. If they're not shaded, you want to push them down. Now to push them down, because we've got, let's see, let me get this in so you can see, I hope, because here's our pattern thread. And if you notice, we've got 2 threads and then another pattern thread, 2 background threads, another pattern thread, 2 background threads. If you notice that, I do not want the first on the left pattern thread. I'm ignoring my border threads completely and just looking at my pattern threads. So I want to push that first one down out of the way. And to do that, I sort of separate it. This is a little cluttered. Hang on, let me get these out of here. Okay, let's see if that's a bit better. I want to separate, I've got the shed, I want to separate this guy, and I want to drop him. Let's see if I put this right there, maybe that'll help. Okay, there, now we just see the top layer. There's my first pattern thread. I want to get rid of it. So I drop him. I put my finger so it goes down. My next 2, I want to keep those 2 in the middle, so I keep them where they are. And the last pattern thread I want to drop. So I have, and let's see if we can get a shot so you can see it. I have my finger in where I want the shuttle to go. And I've dropped 2 of my pattern threads down. They're now going to be on the bottom row. And I am going to put my shuttle in where my finger was. And if you notice, you can kind of check yourself. I've got just 2 pattern threads in the middle showing, and I've got a blank space here and here where I pushed them down. And now I've unwound my shuttle to the extent that I've tangled. Hold up. All right, fix that. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to change sheds, feet down, and now we only see on that row those 2. Now my next row, let me just show it in the screen. I scooted it up one, that was that one. My next row is the open shed. I don't have an H there, so it's open. I should have 3 pattern threads up, and I do. 1, 2, 3. But I don't want that middle one. I want to keep this one and this one. All right. And I don't want the middle one, so we're going to drop him. So I pick between the 2 background threads between the pattern one and just drop it to the bottom. So you see there, I've got a gap right there. All right, send my shuttle through. I found it hard to learn to do this and keep my selvages even the first few times. So maybe focus on getting your pattern right and then worry about the selvages next time. Okay, next row heddled. These two are colored in, these two aren't. So I want to keep the left and right one, drop the two middle pattern threads. All right, so I keep my left one, drop the next one, drop the next one, keep the right one. Let's see. Let me put the shuttle in. All right. Okay. Is that making sense, guys?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Are you following? I know this is slow. Ingrid is going to show in a few minutes exactly how snazzy a special heddle is for doing this. Okay, I'm up to the first purple row of my pattern, which is actually the pattern here. So I'm off the lead in. There was my little lead in, and I'm onto the pattern. First row, I only want the middle one. So I'm going to drop the one on the left and the one on the right. All right, so I've just got one there. Second row. Second row. Okay, move that up. Oh, we've hit something I haven't talked about. We've got our 4 dotted squares there. Those indicate the pattern threads that are in this row. I don't want the first one. I don't want the last one. But if you look in the middle there, there's a blank square that's shaded in. That means you want to pick it up from the bottom. So, okay, I'm going to go left to right. I want to drop the first one. There, boom, it went. I want to keep the second. There's my second one. Now, and let me see. I have an index card here just for this. I don't know if that's helpful. Okay, so there's where I dropped the first one. For this, between the second and third pattern threads, I want to pick that one up. To pick up, you're going to split the 2 background threads and grab the one from underneath. Hold on. Okay, let me do split. And you see one kind of pops up right there. And let's see what I've got. I've got 1, 2, 3 pattern threads now, and the fourth one I don't want. It needs to go down. And let's examine it. So I picked up the middle one right there. So to push down one you don't want, you just push it down and hold it down with your finger as you do the row. To pick up one that you do want from the bottom, you're going to separate. Let's see, where am I? All right. Oh, you know what? Let me talk about what happens if you do an oops, because I missed a thread here. If you do an oops and want to unweave, you can't just move your shed like we do in plain weave with an Inkle loom. You can't just go up and fix it or down and fix it. You have to actually do a little lasso or cradle, pick up the ones that were a boo-boo and try the row again. And believe me, if you do much of this, you're going to need it. All right. Okay, we're back at that first row. Sorry. Okay, this is what happens when you make a boo-boo. All right. Let's go back lower. Okay, so we've got the first row nice and pretty. So now we're on the second row again, and we're looking at drop the left pattern thread, keep the second pattern thread, pick up a middle pattern thread, keep the next pattern thread, and drop the last one. Okay, let's try that again. There. All right. Okay, now I've got all the threads, I think, for that row. All right. So I've got 3 that matches those 3. And I'm going to move up to, I want, all right, if I look at my dots, 1, 2, 3 dots. Okay, so I want to keep all 3 pattern threads, and I want to pick up in between that middle one and first one and that middle one and third one. So if I look, let's see. All right, to pick up, you separate the 2 background threads. Okay, let me get, we've got a lot of threads there. Let's see if this helps. To pick up, you separate the 2 background threads, pick up the one that's in between, separate the 2 background threads, pick up the one that's in between. So this was just a pickup row. When you're doing a bigger piece, this is 7 threads. When you're doing something like a 13 or 15 thread one, you're going to have to kind of be careful and go in order. Maybe left to right or right to left. Just pick something. Okay. All right, so I'm on the next row, which is a heddled row. I want all 4 of my pattern threads to stay put, but I want to pick up right in between each pattern thread, leaving the center open. So I'm gonna get my fingers in there. Okay, pick up between first and second. There we go. Pick up between third and fourth. Some people use a knitting needle there or a little fancy pickup stick that's small enough. I've just gotten used to using my fingers. Okay, so I've got the gap started right there. Next row. All right, let's see. Here are my 3, 1, 2, 3 pattern threads. I don't want the middle one. I want the left bottom thread to come up, and I want the rightmost bottom thread to come up. Okay, so I want the leftmost bottom thread to come up. I want the rightmost bottom thread to come up, and I want to drop that middle one. Let's see if I can do that. With a lot of what we call pickup, and some people don't like to call this pickup because I'm picking up and dropping down or pushing down. With a lot of these designs, you're going to have to both drop down and pick up. Let's see, last row for this one. All right, I want to keep the 2 on each left and right side, and I want to drop the 2 middle ones. All right, so I want to keep these 2 on each edge and drop the middle ones. And let's see. There we go. All right, and that is 1 design repetition. If you notice in my drawing, I've used a red line to indicate my repeat marks just so I can see them. Chris or Ingrid, what have I left out?
You did undoing. You did.
I did undoing. Not where I meant to do undoing. Oh,
That was very good.
One other thing before I turn it over to Ingrid. If you're doing your own designs here, if you want to graph out your own designs, something fancy, this is sort of similar to what Ingrid's working on her Inkle loom right now. Sort of similar. If you look and count vertically on the grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's a gap. 1, 2, 3, that's fine. You don't want more than 7 in a row vertically, or your floats are so long. So some of the design folks say keep it 5 to 7 for the longest. I think that was the other thing I wanted to
Could you just
talk
point
about.
out the green threads on your pattern that you?
Yes. Okay, let's see, Chris. Right here. All right. And it looks like I deviated from what I told you to do, which is kind of like, oh, whoops. Yeah. Okay. I was just tinkering, and I put, it looks like 2 background threads, and then 2 green threads and 2 yellow threads. And then I think I put 2 blue threads just to give it a sort of definition. The pattern itself, I stuck with the 1 thick thread that I've got as purple there, and 1, 2 background threads, 1 thick thread, 1, 2 pattern threads, 1 background thread. On this, I indicated that I just put actually 4, 2 here and 2 here, background threads, and then 2 dark and 2 dark, just something contrasty. But I didn't actually do that on this. Sorry. I did that on this one. And I shouldn't have played. I just got excited, Chris, and decided I needed something else. That is the design that I've indicated on this sheet. Sorry.
No, they're both pretty. They're both really nice.
To get these checks, you do a heddled thread in one color and the open thread in another color. So I've got 2 heddled green and 2 open yellow. And that gets you nice little checks in plain weave, which is all my border is doing.
It's really pretty.
Now, when I did this one, I can tell you this took forever.
That would on regular pickup.
On pickup, it took forever. So Ingrid is going to show us what you can do when you buy a neat heddle from, let's see, Store Stalker.
Store Stalker, yeah.
Store Stalker. And so I'm going to turn it over, and I think I've been saying the name of the heddle wrong. Suna or Sana. I'm not sure which it is, but it's Sunna. And it looks like this. So, Ingrid, you
All right,
want to...
well, okay, you can get these heddles in different number of pattern threads, and that's really what determines your width also. This one has got 5.
We need to get Dave to spotlight you.
Oh,
Oh,
I think Dave fell asleep.
I think I put Dave to sleep. Did I put you to sleep, Dave?
I can't hear him. He muted himself.
He's muted himself. Let's see,
No,
Dave,
I didn't go to sleep. I'm just sitting here contemplating, staying out of the conversation.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought I'd put you to sleep.
I am fully enjoying it.
Okay, I think Ingrid's going to show us now the slick, easy way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So these are the type of heddle that we're talking about, the Sammy band weaving heddles. You have your pattern threads that are in long slots, and they can move only a little bit. You've got your background. Now I only did it in 2 colors just to make it easier to see what's going on here. You've got holes and slots, holes and slots. You thread when I usually thread these, I thread my background first, come back, make another warp of just the pattern heddles. And let me tighten this up. Okay, so when you pull this up and down, you can see that those pattern threads pretty much float between the different white threads that are the background. And that's what makes the pickup so easy. Now I did plain weave, which is just all white. Now you can see that's all just background And on the back, all those pattern threads have floated, which won't be a problem because it is on the back. I'm going to hook up my handy little thing here and we can go. So a pattern that I was trying, now this is only 5 threads in the pattern. So this is the pattern I'm doing. And you just follow, okay, so on this row, we're going to pick up all 5. You have to maintain your up, down, and then left and right, of course. So my first one here, I want to pick up all 5. So the way I've got it set up, I'm going to pick this up. Now you can see all the whole threads are up. These are pattern threads floating in the middle. I want all 5 of those pattern threads to show, so I'm just going to take my nice little shuttle, also from Storstocka, put it through there. Picked up all 5, easy. Pull it through.
Much easier.
Yes, next row is, I gotta put some weight on this.
Hey,
2,
Ingrid,
yes?
What's the difference between that shuttle and the one Cindy used? Why would you?
This has got a very nice pointy end on it. Makes it very easy to pick up everything. You just kind of scoop it.
Is that
So
specifically for that particular?
It's good for pickup. I think it's more almost like a fishing shuttle, a fishnet shuttle, but it works very well for this. Okay, so my next row is 2, skip 1, 2. Pulled it down. So now these threads are now up, which is the opposite shed. 2 and 2. Got them. Go through. Done. I'm sorry, was that easy?
It was easy. It was
Okay.
very easy.
Next row is just picking up 1 on either end. So there are 3 that are not picked up in the middle. Same deal again. Leave those 3 down, pick that one up, done.
See how she can grab it, Chris, with that hook part of the shuttle?
Okay, then the next row.
Yes, I do.
The next row is this one, which is 2 that are next to each other just on the one side. So again, pulled it down, brings up these threads, leaves these pattern ones in the middle, pick those 2 up, scoop it on down, tighten it up. Next row is this one, which is picking up the 3, leave the 2, move it up, pick up 3, leave the 2. So you can see how much faster my rows go. And then this is now the last one, which is, well, the repeat of this pattern. So I'm skipping the 1, picking up the 3, leaving the 1. And that's that whole set already done. And this is what
Oh, cool.
that looks like woven.
Yeah.
And pretty similar to the one that was in the, all right, we'll get rid of, okay, so that's, and the thing that's nice about using it on a backstrap method, you've got this fun little clamp. You can get a belt or make yourself a belt that hooks in around your back. You've got your heddle, and then you've got just the end of it. Let me see if I can just scoot it over. Well, I've got a clamp on a chair here, and I'm just pulling I made a loop, pull it off, and now this can go wherever I want to go in that little, everything's together.
So I know Sandy did yards and yards of that. So when she did yards and yards, to handle that much on a backstrap setup, you just do that sort of hook thing.
I would just tie another knot or an easy knot, and then just, tie and undo it as you go.
Okay.
So you can make it as far away or as close as you want. All right, so this is now the bigger one. I left it on my Inkle loom. This is the 13 thread Storstocka. So again, it's the same concept. You've got your white background threads that go up and down. This is a little harder on the Inkle, but you can see the blue is limited as to where it can go, but it does make it float in between. And this can do more complicated, of course, patterns. And the one I'm trying to do is this. Let me see if I can get this out of the way. Is this whole thing here.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
So I had started this one and didn't like it. So now I'm over here starting this. Because I used a variegated thread, it's turning out kind of
Neat.
But again, you know, instead of having to go pick up everything, you know, manually, my next row is going to be this one here where I've got 1 down, then 3. So it's picking up groups of 3 across. Oh, all right, I used the same shuttle, but anyway. I only have one of these shuttles. So we're just going to do it this way. Okay, get my arm out of the way. We want the 1, we pick up 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. So now that is the row I've picked up there. I don't know if that's a little easier to see.
It is.
Okay, so I picked up those, and I can, since I have a little tail left on here, I'm not going to use that. I'll just pull this through. I use the same thread just to make it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so tighten this up, pull this one down. I can still pack it down with that thing. All right, so then row done. 13 threads of pickup, and it's like that. So
And it would have taken me 10 minutes to explain one row.
right, and I highly recommend it just because if you really want to do a lot of pickup, you're going to need one of these. Go ahead.
Yes, it does make it easier, I can tell you.
And the same deal again, you do the plain weave, and it does leave all the threads
on the
back. Oh, well, you can see it over there. I did a bunch of plain weave over here.
Oh,
So that's all the variegated threads that are floating on the back, but that's pretty much it for that.
So the heddle, the Suna heddle or the Sana heddle makes it much quicker to do pickup for the Baltic style patterns. The only limitation is you have to do the numbers that they make. You know, so they have the 13 pattern. I think they have a 17 pattern. I forget now.
I'm not sure how high they go.
Right.
I picked one kind of in the middle.
Yes.
And of course your bands will be different widths depending on what size yarn you use. This is 5/2, and so this is what, about inch, maybe a little bit more, 1.25 is about what you get with the 5/2.
So if I got the 15 pattern or the 17 pattern heddle, could I use it to run 11 pattern threads and not warp all the pattern threads? Will it work that way?
I would think so, because again, you know, in the solid here where you're not using any pattern threads, it doesn't have any gaps. It doesn't have gaps. Yeah. So I would think that you'd be okay. Now I'm going to have to try that.
Oh, sorry. I just wondered if the up and down shed would work still between, if you didn't thread one of the middle slots, one of the pattern thread slots.
If you look at it, I mean, you pull it. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's the same as doing the plain weave here, is that I've just pulled it. It does get wider as you've got pattern threads in it. So I would think you could put it, no matter what, you know, any number in there.
Okay, I'm going to give that a try.
I am too. I'm going to be in here snipping things out.
Yeah. Oh no, don't.
That's okay. I can do that.
Okay. Explain just a little bit about that card. And you buy a card that has 13 slots for your pattern. It's not a specific pattern for that one you bought. It's just.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the pattern was out of a book. I just copied the page to make it easier for me to put it on my magnet board. This is out of Norwegian Pickup Band Weaving.
Yeah, here's the book. I've got that one too. You can see the cover of it.
And the card that you get is just a nondescript card for a 13 pattern. Can you use less? Could you use 11 threads in that card or not?
That's what we were just talking about. Yeah, we're going to try it.
Okay.
We're not sure.
I think we can.
The terminology yet.
Well, because if I pull, I mean, if you pull these out, if I don't want to look at these. I mean, as you beat, it'll pull that in. It won't know that those pattern threads are missing, is what I think. I think you'd be okay.
So we'll still get a regular even weave shed, even if we don't thread the pattern threads. I bet that would work.
Right.
So if you were going to do a different pattern than that one, and say it was on like the size of Cindy's, which was, I don't know, 7?
7. Mm-hmm.
7.
You would use a different card?
I would think you could use this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a heddle.
The heddle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So really, if you've got the 13
in theory, in our theory,
we don't know if that works real well.
This is over my head, so I'm asking questions. I have no idea what I'm asking.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, Chris.
I see no reason why it wouldn't work as long as all of the holes are filled in the center, as long as it's just edges that aren't filled.
Right. I mean, you just like you could pull out.
Yeah. I mean,
I would think because well, because I didn't even go all the way out to the edges on this either.
Yeah. So,
that's right, you didn't.
Don't leave holes in the center, but.
Yeah, I would say if you're going to do it, you could narrow it from the sides as long as you keep because you need to keep your center so you get a good pattern. I mean, if you otherwise it's going to be too hard to do. You've got to have a center, which is marked on here. So you've got your center. So as long as you have a center and go out from there, I don't see why you can't do as many as you want.
That you're not using now. So
yeah, you could, I would think that you could just eliminate whatever. Well, the thing is I used all the pattern threads on here. I just didn't go all the way out with my background.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But we were talking about eliminating pattern threads out of here if you wanted to do fewer.
Yeah.
And I think you could do it. I don't see why.
Yeah.
I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Well, I've got the 7 one, so as soon as I get woven off what I have on there, I'll try it with 5.
Well, I'll snip some of these out and see what happens.
Some?
I'll just snip these out and we'll go down to a 9. I have to go find a new pattern. Why not?
Okay. Well, cool. Well, now, Chris, did we answer what you needed?
Or did we confuse you more?
No, I think it's very interesting. You guys did a great job explaining it. The one on your, I forget what it's called when you hook it to your belt, backstrap.
Backstrap. Mm-hmm.
That looks like a floor loom that has no tension. I mean, it's just like scary looking. It looks like
see, okay, so now I just jumped it all on top of each other, right? But it very easily comes all undone. I just hook it back. You go back in reverse order, hook it back on the hook. The heddle keeps everything in order, and it's ready to go.
Right, but when it's bouncing around and everything, that just drives me nuts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's me not sitting still either.
But it may be like a floor loom, except you don't have to rent a truck to take it to a meeting.
Right. The portability is what's nice about the.
Well,
I'm sorry about that. That was me.
No.
Well,
jumping around. You can't believe. You can't believe how many knots I have had in yarns that when I was trying to warp a loom. So that just
that's worrying you.
You're welcome to the club, Chris.
Yeah.
But see, once it's through the heddle, and then you put tension on it, you're good.
Yeah.
You sit there under the tree and weave until
exactly. Or tied to the doorknob, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Or clamp it
now,
here.
I wasn't doing well with my salvages when I took mine off the Inkle loom and used it as a backstrap, Ingrid, and I think it's just me. So I put it on an old rigid heddle loom, and that's working, Chris. So now the only thing you got to watch is your heddle can't hit the sides of the loom. If you've got one of the little looms, like a samplet, the heddle might not fit in that space well enough. But yeah, I had trouble.
Sitting here thinking that backstrap loom might make a good companion for a road trip, not on your bike, but in the car, if you could figure out what to tie it to up on the dashboard. And that might take a little prior drilling and mounting. But it would be great if you guys
Drilling.
had gone out to see Grandma in Kansas. You could get several inches or feet of.
Well, I do have my
band
little,
woven.
I do have my little spinning wheel that can do that. So maybe I'll be spinning instead of weaving. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. You got your spinning wheel. That's fine.
Well, it'd be a heck of a lot better than putting the rigid heddle loom in your lap when you're in the front seat.
Apparently people do that though.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's scary.
a little bit. I worry about that.
Or we
Especially
can
if
use
you're
this
driving.
little fun guy. This is a good one to do in the car. You've
This
seen
is-
this.
Yes. You can make yourself little scrubbies.
Oh, the
Yep, I've been
hello?
making little
Yes.
scrubbies.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, do you have any that you can show us?
They're all in use, but
In
let me
the
go find one.
Trying to
While
decide
she's
if
gone
that's
find
what the next to last issue of the Swedish Weaving magazine had a big piece on.
No kidding.
I think that was the hello. It was something very similar to it. That yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, after Ingrid showed me hers, I had to buy one. So I've got the little kit in my purse for whenever I go anywhere.
Oh, cute.
Okay.
It's just a little scrubby, the little scrubby yarn. And just, it's fun to sit just and makes little useful things.
Could we do chicken feathers with it?
Maybe.
You could. Yeah,
We're
I've
gonna
got
have
a whole
to do
bag of
chicken
scrubby.
feathers with something.
Perfect,
Scrubby yarn.
Ingrid.
Yeah, I've got many scrubbies to do with that.
Okay, well, maybe you can do chicken feathers with scrubbies then. Since Tina seems to be determined that we're going to weave with chicken feathers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we are.
Yeah, I'd be happy to watch that.
Yeah. I think I will watch rather than participating on that one.
And Hello Loom fits in a little baggie, even with a little scissor and
Yeah.
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 A needle and
a needle. I bought a little plastic fork to use as my,
perfect. Perfect.
so I'm ready.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
What I have done, I'm just going to take you off spotlight there.
Yes, please do.
Please.
What I've done with my little scissors is a shoestring,
Oh,
because I
We-
sit here and if I'm sewing, doing quilt bindings or something or whatever, it doesn't fall off the sofa. It doesn't go off with the cat.
Well, you don't like scissors sticking in your floor like this?
No, it isn't my floor I'm so worried about. It's my toe.
but
These have fallen off. I don't know how many times and stuck in the floor, like, you know,
Okay.
like that.
Oh,
No, I
wow.
once went ahead and had an incident with a rapidograph pen. It's one of these
Yep.
the ink pens.
Yep.
Answered the phone in a hurry out of the shower, and it dropped and stuck in her toe and vibrated. It left a black dot.
ooh.
Ow.
Oh.
Yeah.
The fun things we do. Yes.
Yes. Anyway,
All right. So I guess
Well-
I'll be cutting threads out. Okay. We'll try that one.
Okay. If you're coming tonight, let me know.
well, I plan to.
I may
if
want to finish my pattern. I'll have to see.
Okay, please. Yeah. Okay. Don't. Yeah.
With any luck, I will
Same
have
here.
at least one quilt sleeve to sit here and sew while I'm doing that.
For
So
sip and
All right.
chat. Yeah.
I've got
Oh, yeah.
I've got the quilt lying in there. I just need to make the tube.
Okay.
Okay, are we
Very good.
pretty
Well,
much ready?
thank you for the lesson. It was very, very good.
Great. Well, thank you for coming.
And she's going on bandweaving.com to buy her own little shuttle now, right? Or heddle now, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to try my ankle loom first. It's small.
Yeah.
You
These
have an
are
ankle loom,
nice.
Chris?
What?
You have an ankle loom
I
already?
have a small one, an Inkle.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can practice a bunch of this
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
You don't need to put it on an ankle loom. It'll do fine on a back strap or
Yeah, I
And
don't.
big loom.
yeah.
I don't even want to mess with that back strap. That's so scary looking. I will enjoy Ingrid doing it until I
You
get.
can you can borrow my shack ankle loom. It's big
Oh.
enough. It'll take it. Just let me know when you're ready.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It'll be a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I can take
That's really great.
Okay, guys. I'll see what I can do
Thanks,
with the
Dave.
edits and
Thank you, Dave.
okay, I'll
Okay.
let you know tonight if I've had success in cutting this into
Okay.
manageable amount of posting it.
Thanks.
It may be on the Comedy Channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that too. So, okay, guys.
Thanks. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. I'm sorry I missed recording it the other day, so thank you for doing a rerun.
I didn't even think of it, and I think I did worse this time, but oh well. You can edit out what you need to.
Yes, that's it. And what I
Okay.
did, I just set it up to start recording automatically, so I didn't forget it. So
So we got all
Okay.
kinds of other stuff too. Okay.
Yeah, you got all of it.
that's right. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Bye,
See you
y'all.
later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.